Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at passage 7 from the OG 13 RC chapter. This has questions 26 to 30. So we will first read the passage, try to understand it in great detail, and then look at the questions. The first sentence of the passage is always very important. It says, in 1988, services moved ahead of manufacturing as the main product of the United States economy. So I know the passage will have something to do with the economy or with services and manufacturing, something on those lines. But what is meant by services? Some economists define a service as something that is produced and consumed simultaneously, for example, a haircut. The broader classical definition is that a service is an intangible, something that cannot be touched or stored. Yet, electric utilities can store energy and computer programmers save information electronically. Thus, the classical definition is hard to sustain. So, all I've understood in the first paragraph is that in 1988, services have started doing very, very well, and the rest of the paragraph is trying to come up with a all-encompassing definition of service. It talks about one definition given by some economist and one given by the classical definition. I haven't really understood what those definitions are, though I did read through them. In case there's any question, I will go back and read them again. Second paragraph, it says the United States government's definition is more practical. So I know now I will be getting the US government's definition of services. Services are the residual category that includes everything that is not agriculture or industry. Okay. Under this definition, services includes activities as diverse as engineering and driving a bus. However, besides lacking a strong conceptual framework, this definition fails to recognize the distinction between service industries and service occupations. Okay, so now one, there's a problem with this definition also, and the second, there are two things. One is service industry, one is service occupation. I don't know which is which. It categorizes workers based on their company's final product rather than on the actual work the employees perform. So that is the difference between industry and occupation. Thus, the many service workers employed by manufacturers, bookkeepers or janitors, for example, would fall under the industrial rather than the services category. So it is the end product that is defining which category a worker falls under, and not the activity itself. Such ambiguities reveal the arbitrariness of this definition and suggest that, although practical for government purposes, it does not accurately reflect the composition of the current US economy. So basically, the second paragraph talks about the US government definition, and it also finds problems with that definition. So the entire passage is basically talking about how to define service. In the first paragraph, you have two definitions. In the last paragraph or the second paragraph, you have another definition, and all the definitions have some negative point or the other. It's an absolutely neutral passage. The author does not have any specific agenda apart from saying that there is a problem with every definition of service. With that thought process, we will now look at the questions. So the first question, number 26, says the author of the passage is primarily concerned with. So as I said, it's mostly a neutral passage. So let's go through the options. He's basically concerned with discussing definitions of service, something on those lines. So A says discussing research data, doesn't discuss any research data. B says arguing is the wrong word. He never argues for anything. C says exploring definitions of a concept, looks very good. D says comparing the advantages, never does that. E says clarifying some ambiguous definitions, never does that. Very easy question. C definitely is the answer to your question. He is exploring the various definitions of a concept.